guys? It is Yasuke Fitness back at it again with another episode. In fact, today is going to be a new series that I'm developing. Basically, the idea behind this series is a lot of men in today's society are not growing up with their fathers in their house or no male role models in the house. And we're in a generation of lost boys, and fortunately enough, I was able to be raised in the household with my father and alongside my brothers and my mom. We're all together, a very nuclear family unit. And one day I was talking to my father, and I realized that we have very deep, introspective conversations about the world, about life in general, about the state of men today, and things like that. And I believe that a lot of men can benefit from these talks. So that's why I want to create this into a live stream series where we battle and we talk different topics and things like that, and maybe even you guys can ask them questions later on and give them topics to talk about. Okay, we're gonna do live reactions. We're gonna do all kinds of other cool stuff later on in the future. But today's first episode, we have some topics, and I'm gonna introduce them formally to you guys. These are my parents. This is my mom, Velma Thomas, and this is my dad, Derek Thomas. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. You know, like talk a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into the topics. Okay. So go ahead.
Uh, my name is Derek Thomas. Originally from the Caribbean, and I'm living here in Florida now. So that's what's up.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Velma Thomas. I was born in the U.S. Virgin Islands, island of St. Croix, and was raised in a little island, two sister islands, St. Kitts, Nevis. My mom is from Nevis, and I raised part of my life there, and then I moved back to St. Thomas, not St. Croix. I moved to St. Thomas, and that's where I met my husband here, and we're now living in Florida.
Okay. So a few questions that I want to ask, just so that the anybody that's viewing can just have a little bit more understanding. So my parents are married, and they've been married since the first time they got married. So how long have you guys been married for? How many years?
29 years. Yeah, we were married for
20, 29 coming August. This August coming.
29 years.
Mhm.
So being married for 29 years, how does that feel in today? How does that feel today? And then we'll talk a little bit about how did it feel when you guys first got married. So like today, 29 years into your marriage, how are you guys feeling? How's it day to day?
It's good. I mean, my marriage is pretty good. It's the same day as when I get married, and it's not never changed.
So nothing's changed in 29 years.
So for me, I don't know for you.
Well, no, nothing changed. I mean, we were young. I mean, I was 16 when I met him, and he was 19. When we met together, we hit it off well. Both of us, we had the same interest. We like to socialize. We like to go out a lot, and we like to uh, we just like to mingle. So both of us have the same thing in common. Um, I mean, every marriage have their ups and downs.
So
But
it probably was I mean, I was obviously there growing up, you know, when I was born, but I wasn't there previously. But what were some of the struggles of being married that you guys had to overcome?
What?
learning each other's habits. I mean, when we first moved together, I mean, I say I was 16. I was going to school. He was 19. And then, well, I was in high school. We dated, and he was not going to school. So he just came from the Caribbean of the island of Dominica in the West Indies, and so we met. We started dating when I was in high school, and we dated for about 4 years when I graduated. So my 16 years of from 16 to graduation is like pure fun. It's like going out, partying and stuff like that. So
Mm.
then I was pregnant at 17. I was pregnant at 17 with your older brother, um, our first son, and then I gave birth at 18 years old, and I graduated shortly after that.
Okay. So what were like the struggles that you guys had to overcome being married?
The struggles, we had nothing.
So
We
there was never a time that, where you guys had to like put your heads together to overcome a situation. There was something that was difficult. So would you say just all around that the time that you guys been married has always been uh pretty blissful?
yeah,
No, no. Well, it's not pretty blissful. I mean, every marriage have the ups and downs. I disagree with him. You disagree with me. But at the end of the day, we stuck together
yeah,
as husband and wife. I mean,
Okay.
we stuck together. That's my husband. I'm his wife. At the
Okay.
end of the day, they always say, "Don't let the sun go down," and you be upset with each other.
Be upset with each other. So
So yeah, we've been upset. We have been upset with each other and stuff like
well,
that,
yeah. I
but
mean, we have arguments all the time, but
right.
not no
not no
Ne-
argument, no
argument,
conflict.
no argument, or like calling the cops and all that.
Right.
Fight.
So you guys always handled issues and problems together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
these are my parents. So somebody, my one of the viewers, Almighty Push, he just showed up in the chat. What's going on, Almighty? Yes, these are my parents. I'll show you. These are my parents, and today's the first episode of a series that I'm deeming called Father's Talk, and where I'm going to pretty much be asking my dad a lot of questions, things that are going on today, and we're going to battle a lot of topics. But thank you for joining. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. Anyways, so back to what we were saying. Um, shoot, lost my train of thought. It's okay. So, yeah, we're. I'm gonna show his comments. He basically saying that we're Africans. Yeah, yeah, we are very much Africans
oh yeah,
on this side of the this
Yeah.
side of the
yeah.
this side of the world.
Represent Africa. I
Always
mean,
represent. So now that we've gone into a little bit of detail on the like who you guys are, a little bit about the marriage aspect. All marriages, they're not perfect, but you guys are the example that I've always used to pretty much look out into the world and like my parents actually did it. So I'm glad that I'm here today. If I wouldn't be here today without you guys, so I thank you for that. And we're going to go into the first topic. Okay, so the
Mm.
first topic I want to hear from and I hope you guys don't find it weird. This is a Caribbean kind of culture. I call my dad like I say daddy, or I say like daddy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's normal. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just let y'all know that. So uh we'll start with you, and then so what is the state of what do you believe is the state of masculinity in today's society?
I think it's under threat, from the feminist organization.
Okay.
It's crazy, but
How how do you think masculinity is like under attack, or like what are some of the ways that masculine men are being uh put under like siege almost?
well, you could see majority in the world right now. You find masculine men cannot be masculine. The system is a whole system against masculinity here in the States and some European countries.
So
Um,
you think this is more of like a Western first
yeah,
world concept.
Yeah, it's a Western. It definitely is a Western. It's spreading too. It's spreading to a lot of
Right.
foreign countries, but it's a Western concept.
Okay. And would you, as it is right now, are there any spaces right now that where men can be masculine, do you think? Or like what are some examples of places or things where men could still just be men and not be, scrutinized?
Ah, I don't know, on the football pitch, on the
Right.
basketball,
Like
in the
on the football field, basketball court.
even in the
Yeah.
gym, even in the gym, it's a problem now. It's a big
Yeah.
go to the gym and you can't even look at a woman in the gym. It's
You can't
people.
even look at it. You can't even look at them nowadays, or else you would be labeled as a creep.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell the young cats what to do because it's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
Well, we are living in a different world versus when first met my mother, and um things are just different now,
I,
but obviously we're the same humans,
yeah,
we're
we
the
just
same people. You know what I'm saying? We have the same feelings and emotions, but we're living in like just a different time, like structurally and like society wise. So a lot of people think that like the way things are permissible,
yeah. Mm,
right? So another thing too is, do you think that one of the most important places a man has to be masculine is in his own home?
of course. I mean, where else you're gonna be masculine if you can't be masculine in your own house? You gotta be a masculine. You gotta protect your family. You gotta provide. You gotta be the leader of your own home.
Mhm.
And I I don't know what to do, what to tell
What
you guys, but
what are some of the ways? Hey, and Almighty, if you have any questions to ask them, go ahead and just drop it in the chat, and I could definitely ask them for you. Okay. So, what are some of the ways that men are being scrutinized within their own home when it comes to just man and woman? What are some of the ways that you think that it's hard for a man to be a man in his own household?
I mean, people in this country, you can't discipline your kids.
So
You
discipline, being able to be the authoritative figure to your children.
yeah, that's one
Okay.
of the ways. Um, off my head right now, it's a lot of things, but right now, can't really come up with too much of it.
Right. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, if you had any questions, I just seen the cold approach guy. Welcome to the chat. If you got any questions, go ahead and just shoot them in the comments, and we'll go ahead and ask them. So this series is where I pretty much ask my parents questions. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. Today is just the first episode, so we're going to talk about a little bit about masculinity. We're going to talk about manhood and things like that.
Can I?
So, yep,
Yeah,
yep. If you want to, oh, it's Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa. That's actually Kwanzaa. So Kwanzaa's in the chat. So you can go ahead
So
and chime. You can go ahead and chime in on that.
okay. So yes, I've seen a lot of changes with masculinity with the young men and men now than back then.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up in the island of Nevis, I was not trained to be masculine. I mean, I was trained to be feminine, a person that keeps the home, a woman that keeps the home. I have my grandmother, rest her soul. I know you don't know your grandmother, your
yeah.
great grandmother, which is my grandmother, taught me about keeping a home for my family, for my man, for my husband. So when my brothers they're outside playing and going to the beach and climbing the trees and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, I had duties in the home, in cooking, in cleaning, in keeping the home.
Okay, so this is on the flip side. So you were taught by my great grandmother how to be feminine, right? So the complete opposite of masculine. So
Yes.
how do you feel about? Let me take his comment off. There we go. How do you feel about? How do you feel about that point in time in your life um, when you were tasked to do these things around the house? Like, I'm sure it must have been like stressful, like as a young girl. So what, like, how did you feel about that time?
Uh, at that time, very stressful, very upset that I don't get to do certain things.
Right.
And I have to be in the home, washing, cooking, and keeping the home and stuff like that. I mean, I don't. It's not like I was on my knees like a Cinderella slaving,
Mm-hmm.
but there's times when, like on Sunday mornings, um, I had to do the washing. I had to help wash. I had to help cook. I have to help iron the clothes and stuff like that. So I mean, it was. And my grandmother keeps talking to me, but you're young. You don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
But
But you
then
still did
I,
it.
I still did it. I didn't rebel against my parents. I did it. It's just a thought in my head. I was like, why do I have to do all of this? But today, I am thanking them.
Okay. Because
Always,
because because those are
always,
skills. Those are skills that you
I
learn.
always tell my mother, thank you for making me do it. Thank you for teaching me the ways of being a wife. So now that I became a wife, I had no problems with keeping a home. And I know when you're having children, I mean it's new,
Hmm.
but I still could have kept my home. I know what to do, and
Right.
yeah. So I mean, with him, with him when I met him, we talked about our life in the when we met together, and with him when he said he met me, he knew that he wanted to be with me. He wanted me to be his wife
Okay. Because
because
you displayed all of the qualities
mhm,
of someone that deserves to be a wife, somebody that is a good long term
mhm,
Yeah.
commitment, something long term, obviously. So
right.
that is a very interesting perspective, and I do want to dive into that a little bit more. But I wanted to, so okay, so I'll ask them um, before we move on to the next one. So we'll just uh, Almighty had sent a question. He said that where did your parents meet? So where did you guys end up meeting?
We met in she went in high school at the time.
Okay.
And I met her coming from school um, on St. Thomas on the Virgin Islands. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's where I was born. I was born on St. Thomas, so they
yeah.
met there.
That's where we met. We met in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands.
So what were you doing at the time, Daddy?
For me,
Yeah.
shit, we were in the streets then.
So
Me and
you
my guys, there driving around, working on cars. Yeah,
right, just kind of just hustling and
yeah,
just
in the streets.
working and just kind of out with the
Yeah,
guys. Okay. And Ma, you were in school at the
I
time.
was in school. I was in high
I
school.
was
Okay.
it.
Okay. So
Then yeah,
okay. So that's good to know. We'll dive more into the past situations as well. So now I wanted to move into, since we talked a little bit about um let me take this comment off. We talked a little bit about how you grew up, learning how to take care of a household, things like that, and you guys met in St. Thomas. So this next question I want you to answer, Daddy.
mm-hmm.
How should a man treat a girl long term versus short term? So I want you to start off with, okay, when a guy first meets a girl, how should he treat her? If how should he treat her if um if she's a long term commitment or a short term commitment? Like
I
what
mean,
is the what is
never know if she long term or short term. You gotta spend some time with her
Right.
to be long term. But short term, you probably want to go on short dates. You know,
Right.
you go, you meet her, you talk to her, spend some time with her, and stuff like that. And I don't know, man.
So
It's so
like what do these short dates involve? Like what do
short.
they involve?
Short dates.
Cause
You with my days, you go by her home, you talk to her, pull up on the porch, talk to her and stuff like that.
right.
We,
So
these days, I see people want to go out on dates and go to eat and feed and all of that. I don't know about that.
so during your time, it wasn't even customary to even take a girl out like to go to do an actual like eat or something like that. Like you didn't really have any kind of like monetary
No,
spending going on when
no,
you met a girl.
no. That's
And
all.
it,
No, we don't do that.
and girls didn't expect
No,
that.
I call you like, okay, I'm gonna check you later. Like,
Right.
stop by the house, stop by your house, talk to you for a bit, and then leave. Next day, I probably meet you again, check you again, and so go. You
Right.
know?
So there was no extra involvement outside of just, hey, we're gonna meet, we're gonna chat, I'm gonna figure
Yeah.
you out, you're gonna figure me out. If we
Uh-huh.
like each other, we go from there.
Yeah, we go from there.
Okay. So how do you know, aside from what Ma described in previous comment that she made about her being raised to take care of a house, what other qualities are you looking at in a girl? Should a guy look at in a girl to consider her for long-term commitment?
Uh the way she carry herself, and not like really ranchy. The
Okay.
um stuff she do with her family, the way
Family
her
oriented.
yeah yeah and stuff
Okay.
like
So basically being very modest
that. Yeah,
about how she interacts with people, how she interacts with her family,
yeah. Be
things
honest
like
about
that.
where she going and stuff like that. What she
Okay.
got, you know?
So because in today's world, it's very accepted now for women to be a lot more open. They're a lot more open with, with other men. Most of the time, if you meet a girl today, she's dating at least another two or three guys she's seeing, and
That right there, and that's not that. I would never take a woman serious for no long term relationship that she in another relationship and talking to me at the same time. That's a
right,
no. You know?
right. So you're very much a believer in, like, you have to be like basically her first guy.
Yeah, yeah. Your first guy. I meet you, you ask you if you're single. Yeah, I'm single, and then we start talking. But if you're talking to another guy, I'm not gonna take you serious.
Okay.
No.
So what? So a lot of people would have a like crazy objections about that. So what is the real reason why you want to be the only guy in her life?
I want to be the. I mean, it's something natural with men. They don't want a woman with different partners, with different
Mhm.
all different type of relationship. That's something natural that comes with all every man. Yeah.
So it's like you said, you think it's more of like a natural thing that
Something.
we play into. It's our own instinct that we want to
And
ensure.
even to
Mhm.
the guys, they don't want to do that. I mean, a lot of people getting forced into it because so many people doing it. A lot of women doing it. They having different multiple partners.
Mhm.
Crazy thing. People have body count and all that. No, that's crazy.
So having multiple partners is automatic turn off
Yeah,
for long term commitment. Okay.
yeah, of
Okay.
course.
So I do want to talk about that some more. We'll dive a little bit more into that, but I wanted to make today's a series or today's episode more about the guy rather than the girl. Okay,
Mm,
because I want us to talk a little bit more about men, right? For this episode. So now this is a very, very debated topic. A lot of people have their own definitions. A lot of people have their own ways of thinking about this. So I want to ask you, as a man who has been married for 29 years, raised three sons, pretty much built his own life, and is, I find, to be a very masculine man. What is the definition of manhood? What do you find to be the definition of manhood? A boy going from being a boy to a man.
I would say from a boy to a man, the different level of respect. You man, you know. I mean, I can't even explain it, you know.
So you think that it's more of you have to build yourself into a respectable person.
Yeah.
And demand and gain the respect of other men.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's more like a boy can only become a man through other men.
Yeah, through other men and the level of respect you get from other men.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know we have a lot of men nowadays who have no definition of what that is, and they don't have any other men in their life to affirm that.
Well, that's something that need to bring back, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You need men to teach other men how to be men, you know, teach boys to be men.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you? Yeah, go ahead.
Men. I teach you guys how to be men.
So, so you believe as a woman you can't teach a boy how to be a man?
No.
Okay. What would you say about all of the, there's a lot of single mothers out there that believe that they can raise their boys into men perfectly, no issue. What would you say about like things like that, like single mothers raising boys?
Single mothers should keep the boys to a certain age.
Okay.
He reach a certain age. I want to say 5, 6. Let the dad raise him from there on. I don't know. I might be crazy, but I think that's the best deal. Because you might find your son turning into a feminine man, you know.
He's picking up a lot of traits of a feminine woman, being a young boy, because like kids in general are really impressionable, and they want to copy whoever's in front of them, right? So if they're with women, most of the day, or with their mother most of the day, you believe that they will just take more traits from their own mother than they would from their father or any other male in their life.
But the way that the American system is the mother is like almost guaranteed to keep the kid once the relationship was left.
The way the legal system works,
you need to live with the dad for a long period of time too, same as a mother. That's my.
Well, let me say this. Okay, so as women, we are nurturer. We are the ones that feed, that love more. So raising young boys, or raising children that are boys into men, we tend to more baby them. Like if they fall, we baby them. If they can't find something, we baby them. So we as women, and that's our natural traits. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And it's not a bad thing,
it's not bad at all. That's where the balance in the home needs to come.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we raised you guys, there's certain things that he has to intervene with.
Of course.
There's a lot of things that he intervenes with. Like, that's it.
Leave him cry.
No,
let him walk.
No, let him cry. Let him walk. Let him do this. Let him do that. You know what I'm saying? As we tend to want to carry the burden for our kids.
Mm.
Because
so instead of like letting him kind of figure out problems on his own, or letting him, fall and get back up.
Yeah, we want
You, as a mother,
to
you
Yeah.
want to do all the work for him, or you want to protect him
we want
from the
to,
world.
which is called nurturer. We want to be, we're more softer. We have a more softer heart, you know.
Hmm.
And that's not bad at all. But that's when you have the balance between
Two
the
parent.
balance
You need
with the
two.
two parent in the home.
Right.
You need a father there, because sometimes the mother, um, and no fault of hers, because
Hmm.
of nurturing, you know, does things that would harm the bringing up of
Right.
a man.
So in the short term, she's helping him do whatever he needs to do, but in the long term, she's actually kind of
Enabling him.
she's enabling him. She's not, like, in the long term, he's not going to be able to solve his own problems. He's going to rely on, somebody else to go. He's always going to go to somebody else to solve his problems, instead of really
I'm
sitting down and figuring it out on his own.
Yeah, I'm not
So,
saying all it doesn't. It happens in all really stuff like that, because I mean, some people, they have like an uncle or a brother that takes hold of, what I'm saying, that discipline,
mhm,
either your son or whatever, But nowadays, it's gone out of hand. And I
right.
see hand nowadays
Okay.
with with there's no respect for there's no respect for men. I mean, we raise our boys to be soft, to give them all that they need, and then
Right.
go off, go get your degree,
Mm,
get that bag, as they say. But then at a certain age, go out there, get how many bodies you want. Then at a certain age, it's collapsing right now, and
right.
we're watching it collapse, and we are continuing to make it collapse
Mm,
by all these thinking that I've, I've I've spoken to plenty of people
mm,
about this, and I've spoken to one day I was going to the airport, and
mm,
this lady was like praising her daughter. Oh, my daughter, she graduated and she has a bachelor's degree and blah blah blah. I said, well, is she married? No. I asked her that question. I said, is she married? But she has a kid. The daughter has a child.
so she carried before she married.
Yeah.
She ain't married. She's not married. I'm like, okay then. I'm like, okay, you have your bachelor's degree.
Hmm.
Good for you. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have. We should be educated. I'm
Mm,
not saying that we should not be educated. But while you're educating, what are you doing when you're educating? You want to be with a man at 30 years old, 35 years old. Now you want to be with a man, and you have two, three kids stringing along for who to take care of.
right. The
That's
degrees don't mean anything at that point. It's like you could have as much education as you can, but if
funny.
you're not a suitable um, pick for a guy, then you're just not going to be a suitable pick. And I mean, some
Awesome.
some women are have accepted that. Some women have to accept it no matter what. But I think a lot of women, they just don't want to accept the truth in that matter. And like what society has told them that they can do this. Yeah, you can do this. It's fine. When internally, and many women know that internally, they feel like it's not a good thing to do. But society will tell them, hey, you can do this. You could be date men casually. You could even have kids out of wedlock, things like that. And later on, they'll end up finding out that, like, that was like the wrong thing to do. But before you we go on, just wanted to read a few of the comments. So Amadi, you said that genders are a social construct, and you said some days you want to feel like a woman. I don't know if you're being serious about that one, but we'll keep on pushing from that one.
Someday you're God,
I don't
man.
I don't know about that one, but he's basically saying that he was raised without a single mom, with a single mom, and he said that his mom was pretty masculine and she provided a lot. And she said he's saying that she did a good job with raising him. So we're not saying that
Oh,
every guy that has a single mom is not going to make it out, or is not going to be successful, or is not even going to be a man, because a lot of men will find that masculine real male role model from some other, like a teacher, a mentor, an uncle,
so
somebody else. And even if they don't have a physical male role model, they might even end up finding somebody online, somebody, a celebrity, or somebody to that's gonna embody the representation of what they think a man should be, which is also a destructive cycle, right? So if a guy is paying attention to, I don't know, like a lot of these rap artists and things like that, a
Yeah.
young boy, and he thinks that this is what it means to be a man. This rap artist, he has all the girls, he has all the money, he has all the status, he has all the fame. So it's like, okay, this is what I need to become in order to be the man. And so now they get trapped into a cycle of they'll eventually end up doing crime. They eventually either end up doing, not staying focused in other aspects of their life. Other things go down the drain, in pursuit of this lifestyle that their celebrity or idol has presented to them, and they want to chase that and try to be a man. And even guys that end up getting to that lifestyle realize that there's really nothing there, right? You're gonna be with loose women. You're not gonna have any kind of sort of commitment. You're not gonna have any sort of kind of people gonna be stabbing your back, etc., doing all these things. So having a positive male role model in a boy's life, having a positive male role model in a guy's life is very, very, very important. So
yeah. But,
Yeah.
um so in the next question, so moving on to the next question, right? So I want to ask you, so if you were talking to somebody else, like some another young boy, even myself, picture myself 12 years old, and what you guys know now and how you guys view the world now, what would you say to the 12-year-old version of myself, or another young boy growing up?
Uh, I'll focus on more educating him on today's world.
Okay.
Based
Educating like what?
on 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 the system, and uh, I don't want to get in trouble, so. we, we
you
know
just want to open up.
we don't want to go down there, so
Right.
we will just focus on this system and the different system around the world.
Right.
Basically, let's say that
Okay. So you say system like monetary system, like economic, politics, things
politics,
like that.
the way we get treated around the world, the way we get
Right.
treated in this country.
I, okay, so in terms of that, you mean like young black boys.
Yeah, young black boys. Yeah,
Okay, so if this was any young boy, like,
12 years old.
yeah, in terms of like becoming a man.
I mean, what was it like? Stay in the gym, stay fit,
So having a fit muscular body,
and get educated and stay in school, you know,
education, staying in school.
what school, you know.
Well, like, what would you say, like, directly to him? Like, what if he's asking you questions like, I like a girl in school. What do I do? Or like, something like that. Or what if a young 12-year-old boy asks you, like, hey, like, I don't know what it means to be like a man. Like, can you tell me what it means to be a man? He's looking at you. You're a grown man. You've lived, most of your life, and you're talking to a young boy, and he asks you, well, how do I become a man? Like, what did you do? What would you
Well,
tell him?
tell them, man, you gotta work hard. Um, what do you say, though?
You're supposed to answer. She
I mean,
can't answer.
Ah!
I don't
Well, you
know.
know your father's kind of shy. He, when it comes to you talking with him off camera is more
Right.
so.
Yeah, I know being on camera is a little bit different, but I guess as we do this more often, as we go dive into more topics and different things, we'll be able to talk a
I,
little bit more about. Yep.
right now, this time no.
Hmm.
Watch out.
Watch out for I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know, bro.
So the young 12-year-old boys, uh, in my personal opinion, I believe that young boys they're being sedated and they're over consuming a lot of what we see on um, TV, the internet, things like that. So 12-year boys are getting sucked up into video games, and I can attest to that because obviously, like when I was young, you guys know me, I was playing video games all the time. That was like literally, I was living on a small virtual game, and that's what I did for most of my like teenage life. I still play sports, I still did other things, but I think in today's world it's even more extreme to where, there's kids now that are malnourished from just playing these games for so long. Like they're dehydrated and things like that. And also another aspect that young boys are being sedated in is internet pornography. So
Yeah, definitely.
um young boys are have more access to nude women than any other man that came before them historically.
I
So
think destroy them, and that will destroy a lot of young men.
right, that's like one of the main things that are gonna mess up young men. This is over consuming or even consuming in general the internet pornography.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right on that.
And not even just um deliberately going to these sites, but even on apps like Instagram, apps like TikTok, even
Yeah,
Facebook and YouTube, the kinds of the way that women present themselves on these apps, the way that women present themselves even in public, it's for young boys seeing that all the time. I could only imagine,
I
like
think
like
ties them, to towards women, in the future, you know,
right.
and you could clearly see it's gonna happen.
You said it's gonna do what?
Desensitize them,
Desensitize them to women. So it's not gonna be
like
women.
like when you
Mhm.
see, when it's not, you see the same attraction you feel when you see a woman when you're young. It's
Mhm.
not the same. They won't really care, you know.
It's not gonna be special. Like a woman isn't really gonna be special in terms of that. You know, that feminine.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because these young boys are getting it from
they get
online, and just even out in outside. Young guys. I see young guys going to the gym. They're like 12 years old, 13, 14, and some of these outfits that these girls wear to the gym. It's like, dang, like seeing that all the time. I
yeah.
I think that would even mess me up as a young boy. Seeing that all the time, and you think that this because you're developing the concept of man and woman in your head when you're growing as a young boy, and seeing a lot of promiscuity in women, or a lot of just more women being more loose with their body, and just wearing things a lot more openly, having a lot of showing a lot of cleavage, showing a lot of breast, or like really tight shorts that don't even cover their whole bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
Seeing this a lot is conditioning young boys to think that, like, okay, this is it, this is what it's going to be. And yes, like a lot of people will object and they'll say, well, we have to teach young boys to do better. We have to teach them to respect women and things like that. But from I guess from like a more um from the other perspective, from the young boy's perspective, you can tell him all the things you could tell him. Like it's like how can I describe it? So you're gonna tell that young boy like, hey, you need to respect the woman's body. You need to respect women. You need to do this, this, and that. But then after you done telling him that, he goes out into this world and he sees women do what they do, right? And
Exactly.
he's like, well, how, you know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to do at that point? He might, even a guy that's like 18, or 18, you finally able to get to go out to the club or whatever. You're 18 years old, can't drink yet, but you're going to the club and you're seeing women do X, Y, and Z, getting super really, really drunk. They're seeing this, they're seeing that. So that's conditioning them as well to view women in a certain light, you
Of
know.
course.
And I don't think that in the long run it'll be it'll
It's
be a very healthy.
not gonna be
Even
healthy.
if you tell them like, hey, you need to respect women and things like that. I'm not saying that they're gonna do anything crazy to a woman, but their idea and concept of a woman is now changed, and this idea that, okay, I'm gonna marry this girl and long term build a family with her, things like that. It's not really gonna stick in his head because he's seeing all these other things, right?
Yeah.
So okay, good. So the last thing, and I want you to talk about this as much as best as you can. The last thing is uh man, women, and the government. So in terms of marriage, how marriage is now today, how it's structured, do
Uh,
you believe that people should allow like the the because the way marriage is done nowadays, it's basically like uh the government is a part of your
yeah.
marriage.
Government is fully involved in your marriage these
Yeah,
days.
government's fully involved, and obviously that wasn't the case
Marriage is like
for
it's a business for the government.
right. But
Uh,
it wasn't always like that though.
no, it's not
So
you and it's you, your wife, and the government.
right before it was you, your wife, and God.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's like you, your wife, and the government.
Yeah.
So do you believe that people should have the government involved in their marriages? Do you think that like the marriage between a man and a woman should just be between them two and their community, or them two, and do you believe the government should be involved?
I don't think the government should be involved in
How
marriage.
is it? How? What do you mean about the government being involved in marriage?
You you don't
So
understand.
so so any issue that happens in
The
your
government,
marriage,
Mm.
people rely on the government to resolve those issues, right?
Oh,
So that they'll either go to they either go to a divorce court, a family court, or some other, they have you know what I'm saying, child. Mhm.
to do your taxes, the government involved. Everything the government is involved.
Right.
Uh,
And when the relationship, when things happen,
the woman is incentivized to divorce.
right.
You went around marrying people and get divorced, and you can make a living like that. For real. It's crazy.
Mhm. So in terms of when it comes to solving problems and solving issues, it should be left solely up to the man and the woman.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
if they're civilized with each other,
Right.
if they're civilized.
But yeah, if they're civilized, because
But
if things do get violent, then obviously like there
Well,
needs to be.
talking about violence, I mean, if you got violence in the relationship, you should have somebody to come in between there. You know?
yeah, but not only violence. I mean, like if It means other things too. You don't have to be violent, but you disagree with something. He disagree with something.
So me and
Right.
you, you think the government should be involved?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think the government should be involved.
So typically in like previously and in other countries too, in other cultures,
The government
when
don't get involved if you call the government. If somebody call the government,
right,
That's every day. I mean, majority of people, as soon as they get argument, they call the police.
yeah,
And the police come and you gotta leave your house. And everything's crazy.
mm-hmm.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
mhm,
wherever you call the police, they won't come
yeah,
for argument. They don't come.
but allowing that to interject into your relationship, like when things happen or when you guys run into issues, a woman or even a man, calling the police or calling, whoever to come in and disrupt wherever. Because like once things like that start to happen, then your kids get taken away, your house, you know what I'm saying?
If
Things
there's
like
a yes,
mhm.
if there's abuse, yes.
If there's abuse, of
If
course.
you have a little argument and it's not nothing serious, but they're calling the police,
Hmm.
they're lying and calling the police because they want something to be done because at the moment they're angry, then that's not a relationship for you, period.
Right.
Right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's not a relationship for you. Because trust me and my husband have had heated argument. But am I gonna call the cops? I'm not gonna call the cops.
Right. There's never been a time
Because
where you would even consider that.
no,
if I attack you or something like that, yeah,
no.
I'm gonna attack.
I mean, if a man starts beating you up and the woman start beating up the man,
Mhm.
trust me, majority of the time it's the woman, but then the man gets in front of it. But if there's physical abuse, if there's physical or something that has to do with harm, I say yes. But if you're having just an argument and you're just upset and you just want to call the cops, which is a lot, which nowadays is what's happening,
Right.
then no, that's not a relationship that you should be in. That's not a relationship that you should be in. Yeah, that's not a
So
relationship that you should be in. The
what I
first
was
cop,
gonna
you're out.
yeah. Hmm.
The first cop that is called, you're out.
Right.
Really done.
You shouldn't be in a
You
relationship with a person that's
you shouldn't prolong that relationship anymore.
They call that toxic relation.
You're out.
Yeah,
It's like, what am I gonna be with you the next time you? No, you're out. You're
it's not
out.
it's not a good sign at all. So
Not a sign at all. If you're gonna call the cops, because most of the time when the cops come, especially for black people,
mhm,
they
somebody's
don't.
getting arrested, somebody's going to jail, or somebody's gonna get severely
So
severely beaten
okay.
most of
So
the time. But uh I do want to mention that in other places of the world, in other countries, other cultures, when it came to smaller arguments and things like that, it was up to the families to resolve the issue, right? So, and I believe in today's world now, when two people get married, it's like they're just one solo
yeah,
unit, just
that's it.
floating wherever they are. They get married, they move somewhere or wherever, and it's just them,
mhm.
and that's it. So they have to, like, whatever issues that happen in between them, they have to pretty much resolve between them, or if things even get remotely out of control, then they call the police, right? So previously, when people got married, it was like
Family
kind of
conflict.
families coming together, right? So like if the man and the woman ended up having an issue, then like the man would either go to
The women's
the
family.
head the head of the woman's family, and then or the woman would go to the man's family, or like there'd be some kind of order happening when it comes to like the elders in the family, uncles and other people involved, and that's how issues was resolved before, there was like government and
Government.
things like that. So, or even like in the church. So like if you got married in the church, then you would go to your pastor, you would go to the elders in the church and things like that to get issues resolved in your marriage. But today it's more like
Straight to the
boom, straight to the police, or you
straight to
call, you know what
court.
I'm saying?
Ah,
You already know where the police is
Right.
from.
yeah.
And that's essentially what we see nowadays. It's really bad, and I hope that anybody who's watching this, if they're ever in a
It's
situation
bad.
like that. Mhm.
It's bad because we have to. People have to start looking at what's happening around them and start programming their children a different way. Because this going and get the bag and you're too young to get married and and all of this,
Mhm.
it does hurt our community, especially the Black community.
Okay.
Now when you start talking about the Black community and somebody's like, well, that never happened to me, that never happened to you, but check at the statistics, check at what's going on around around in America.
Mhm.
Most of our Black community is single mothers. How did that happen? Okay, we have to and then plus we have to stem back. We're not, we're growing up and we're not teaching our children history. We're not sitting them down and we're not teaching them history
Mhm.
to know what happened back then that caused this chaos and what needs to be changed
Right.
and how we
And
change it. We're just raising our kids up in the same old world where, okay, you're a woman, you gotta be strong, you gotta be fierce, you gotta go and you gotta get an education, you gotta make that money. Yes, I'm not saying that is wrong. That is not wrong in go getting your education. But when you're training up a young woman to just get the education and bringing a lot of men around, next thing they ended up getting pregnant. And then, because I was pregnant at 17, so I'm not gonna say you
mhm.
you you. I mean, it doesn't happen. But when you are raising your kids wrong, raising your little girls to grow up, get that bag and stuff like that, but then they're getting kids and not without a relationship. As now they say, the gender reveal is the engagement and the baby shower is the wedding, and that's it.
That's literally how it is.
That's
Mhm.
literally how it is, and that's literally how I see it. But I made it out with my husband.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I started, I probably might be start out wrong on the wrong foot and getting pregnant at an early age, but I had somebody beside me that never left me.
Right.
Nowadays, you just getting pregnant and you're boom, that guy's out.
And
And we're all
realistically, from just a human biological evolutionary standpoint, you know, a woman being pregnant at 16 or 17 was common throughout, human history. It's not like, yeah, like a society, there's different societal pressures, there's different economic pressures and just societal norms that, when a girl is pregnant at 16 or 17, it's deemed as like, oh well, she messed up, or like whatever happened, like this was a mistake. But at that point in time, that is her most fertile years to have to be able to birth the most healthy children that you can. You have older, you have women now that are having children past 30, 35, and it I think anything past 35 is like geriatric. So having a child is like almost
For most,
not not recommended for a lot for some women.
yeah, for most women, yeah.
So but women are being pushed to have children at a later ages in their life. So it is a that is also an issue that women are facing today as well. And
We as mothers need to do a better job and in raising our kids. And for those of you that are out there that are single, that have not gotten a kid as yet, you need to start thinking.
okay.
You start thinking. For those of you that have your kids already, I mean, you already have kids, man. And I don't know what to say, but if you have your kid, they're young. You could still change around the. You could still change around the perception of what
Mm,
it, it is right now. But I mean, they just our young people just have to be able to start thinking, not saying, "Oh, I was young and dumb." Nothing's never young and dumb. We're always thinking.
mm.
We're always thinking, and we put certain things first. That's the thing that we do. Okay, we love to party. We love to have guys over. That's what we love to do. But is that the right thing to do? No. So we need to start raising our kids right.
So one last question for you. So in today's world, because it this is like earlier, it sounds like a girl has to be trained in order how to be a wife. Like
Of
you
course.
you can't just like, yes, a man can marry you and legally you're a wife, but in order for you to, make your house a home, and keep your husband, you know um you have to have certain kind of skills. So if a girl does not know how to do that, what do you believe is her best option in figuring out how to do that in
Well,
today's world?
well, you notice now, right, that even when my brothers come over, they're 50 years old, 40 years old, 50 something years old, or whatever. I still serve them.
Okay.
They don't go in the kitchen and take out a plate when we are here. I still serve you guys when you guys come.
Hmm.
You know, it's not like, okay, it's your the food's there, you go get it yourself. You know what I'm saying? I still
Hmm.
serve you guys. I still serve my brother. You know, I still serve my husband. You know,
So
that's
you, it,
developed in me
mhm.
from since when I was young.
So how would a girl growing up today, because like obviously she's not around like people like my great grandmother to pick up some of those habits and pick up some of those skills in order how to make a house a home and keep their families together and things like that. What do you think is a girl's best option in creating that? If let's say a girl is 19 years old and she's saying like she's going against what the world is saying, what society's saying. She says, okay, I want to be a wife, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to have a family. What do you think is her best option in order to be able to do that if she wasn't raised the same way you were?
If she wanted to, it still got people still doing it. She could
Right.
get to it. Older women,
Hmm.
and
She probably have
they
to
would.
look for a
She
society that
got
does
she
that.
got It's still a lot of people do it.
Reading.
So
Yes,
finding somebody who is already doing it, finding
yeah.
a couple,
Uh,
somebody
yeah.
like, okay. So her best option would be to find another couple who's been married, who's
But
already
whole relation,
done. Hmm.
she figure out what they ask them, talk to them, like, yo, how
Hmm.
you guys made it so far, how
Right.
you guys remain.
Yeah. What's the role that you had to play
Yeah,
versus what the
exactly.
role he has to play? You know, find somebody that has a positive
It
um
still got a lot of
and he
people
has a
in
lot of people out there with the same with that habit. I mean, sucks to say that
this is a new thing right now. This this new the modern women is a new thing. You still got
Hmm.
people practice it,
Hmm.
from
you still have people that believe in
in the
you
family
know, in the
unit and
family unit and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I mean, you got to do a lot of reading too. I mean, you can learn you can know how you can learn how to cook. I mean,
how important is being able to cook in turn is how important is being able to cook and when it comes to being in a relationship for a girl, because in today's world we have a lot of women that they express that they don't want to cook for a man, or they don't know how to cook, or that's not something that they want to do, like,
Well,
but they still want a relationship. How important is cooking and nurturing in a relationship for a woman?
it's important because no matter how rich a man is, and no matter how poor a man is, they want food from home.
Right.
No matter how rich they are, no matter how poor they are. Yes, we can go outside and buy food, but not every day.
Not every day.
Mm.
A man always wants his woman to cook for him. They say
Yeah.
the way to a man's heart, a way to a man's heart is through his belly, right? And
Yeah.
that's 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 not a lie. It's the truth. No matter how
That.
you go out, no matter how much you dine out, a man always wants his woman to cook and to keep the house for him.
Mm, okay.
One of the
So
things
yeah, go ahead.
that's one of the things that will keep your relationship going. You know.
And there's a lot of people out there fooling people like these singers singing, I don't cook, I make money moves and stuff like that. They cook for their man. They cook for their man.
Mm.
But
So
they
it did.
songs out there and they
Yeah.
put songs out there, and these young girls, they follow by the song. I don't cook, I make money moves and stuff like that, and they end up by themselves.
Band by themselves.
They're hoping and they wonder why can't I find a man? Look at all these talk shows around here with all these women. That alone tells you
Right.
that we have a problem in our black community on single mothers.
Mm.
To find a man now, you have 6 kids for different men. Now you want to find a man, and you're well trained now to cook. You're well trained now to cook. You're well trained now to keep the house. For who? You got 6 people to keep the house for. You got 6 people to cook for. For who?
Mm.
You mean, I mean, we listen to a lot of songs, and we listen to a lot of stuff that drive our young girls one way, and then yeah.
Okay. So it's not just the physical aspect of, okay, I have to make food for my man, my husband. It's more of like the nurturing aspect of, can you, because if you plan on having a and being in a relationship, most men, they're gonna want children from you. So if you're gonna have children, you're gonna need to feed your children. You can't always,
Of course.
rely on,
Go eat today.
You can't take your kids out
Go
to
eat
eat.
out today.
right. So that is very important. That's the reason why it's important. It's not just like some women will reduce it to servitude, or they feel like they're in some kind of bondage or some kind of like slavery style position where they have to like
a lot of
slave over a stove.
women don't know that they have the opportunity to make decisions in their home.
Mhm.
When people hear about submissive, when women hear about submissive, they mean they probably think that they're in the kitchen cooking and slaving with barefoot and down there. They have this thing whole all mixed up.
Mhm.
You in the home, you could be the boss in the home and you wouldn't even know you're the boss if you don't act feminine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A real feminine woman, a real feminine woman in the home takes control of everything. A
So
real
even through
decision making,
yeah.
everything. The man has a say whether or not he wants to go with it, but most of the time the man will call and say, "Hey, I'm planning to do this. What do you think? What do you think?"
Right.
But if you have an airhead of a woman or airhead of a wife, you're not gonna call her and tell her. what thing, but a feminine woman that's behind their man
Mm.
is gonna help make decisions too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women nowadays they don't know this. Through their masculinity, they don't know this.
Right. A lot of women are being they're being sold to buy into their masculinity. You know, be more masculine. Work. We praise, and this will be the final topic. So we praise women for displaying masculine traits, and we praise men for displaying feminine traits. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of this. So, um, this was actually an instance online, right? So like it's like this video of this military girl. She has like a six pack abs, and she looks really strong, right? And she's like in a sports bra, like putting on like her clothes, or whatever. And somebody's in the comments like, I would. They specifically say, I'm not insecure about my manhood, so I wouldn't mind letting her carry me to the bedroom. This is a guy saying this. So he's saying basically saying that, hey, I'm not insecure about my manhood, so I have no problem with her picking me up and carrying me to the bedroom, like as like for, obviously bedroom fun. But that's where like I usually try to stay out of the comments a lot when it comes to like social media and all that stuff. But that was just one comment that like it really upset me, because
You wasn't.
when he says that he's basically saying that men who decide that dude like I'm not gonna do something like that, I would never do something like that, he's basically saying that we're not men, like, or we're not, like there's something lacking in our masculinity, in our manhood, when we don't want to display uh feminine qualities, and that's one thing that I seen, and we see it in today. We see it all around today. Men, when they wear a dress, or if a guy does something very feminine that's typical of a girl, he gets praised for it. And if a girl does something that's typical of a guy, she gets praised for it. So it's almost like things are just colliding and going the other way. So what do
you
you
know
guys think about that?
this is all agenda, right? To keep
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I do believe that. Mhm.
it's a agenda to keep whatever in place, to keep this is to keep, because
Keep people divided. Mhm.
it's all a agenda. So
What are your thoughts on that, Day?
Uh, oh,
let me just
Men being praised for
it,
displaying
it,
feminine qualities, and women being praised for displaying masculine qualities.
it goes back to the single parent household,
Mhm.
that's one of the main cause. The women teaching the kids to be, the boys to be feminine and the girls to be masculine, and you could clearly see starting to play out in society now. You know,
Mhm.
I and that's what it is it's completely backwards. It's upside down
Mhm.
and it's backwards. Um, I don't know how to we could go about helping people change it, because it's from the top down. So you got people on the top who was responsible for all communities, and they pushing that agenda. So
Right.
it's a battle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, like, if somebody was to tell you that, like, let's say I don't know, somebody was to tell you to like uh to paint your fingernails or something like that,
Yeah.
and you say nah, like, I'm not gonna paint my fingernails, that's girly, you know what I'm saying, like I wouldn't want to do that, and they reply to you with, you're insecure about your masculinity, so you wouldn't you feel like,
I ain't gonna feel any. I know that's bullshit. It's
right.
it's, it's a it's a news. gender they want to construct. They want to change the whole idea of masculinity. So
Mm.
they want to shame tactic you and all that bullshit, but it's not gonna work with me, you know.
Right. But
Not
like,
gonna-
but like, where do you believe that your masculinity lies in? You know, like where does it truly lie? You know, if people are saying that you're not masculine for like if you're not masculine like for like wearing like if you don't want to wear a dress or you don't want to like I like here's another perfect example and we'll cut the show after your reply on this one. Here's another really good example that really got me when I seen it when I was in college and I was on campus chilling studying outside and I seen one of the black fraternities coming across the campus, right? And they were holding signs and they were like coming, they were walking kind of funny. And when they finally came up close enough to where I could see them, all of the men were wearing high heels. All of the men were wearing high heels, walking through camp, parading through campus with signs basically saying run a mile in her shoes. And these men were in high heels. Like I don't know whose heels these are,
So what do you think they
but
did? What do you think they
so
did?
so they I didn't they expressed to me that well we're doing this to raise awareness of like women's struggle and men be basically
Struggle.
not understanding what it takes to walk a mile in her shoes. So they're physically, literally walking a mile in her shoes. And like to from my perspective, I'm like, there's so many other things that you could do to bring awareness to women's problems, to men being aware of women's problems, but you chose to
What is
literally walk a mile in heels. So what do you like? What do you first of all, what do you think about that? And then second of all, where do you think where do you think a man's masculinity truly resides in?
mm,
In his family and his friends, how he treats his friends and his family.
Right.
That's the friends he keeps around him.
Mm-hmm.
That's who decides how masculine you is. You know.
Right.
Uh, I don't know why they did that bullshit they did on the college campus. They're probably trying to seek attention, but that's not
Right.
the way about trying to find woman's struggle. I mean, what's woman's struggle?
but how can you walk in anybody's shoe? You
I
can't
mean,
walk in
like you understand, like okay, like for example, let's say white people, Caucasian people trying to understand the black people struggle. So
can't
they would go and do things that
they
black people would do or be in places that black people would be and to try to understand their struggle. So I guess this would be like the same thing but men to women.
Nah, that I don't think that's the way to go about finding
a
woman's
man cannot walk in a woman's shoe and a woman can't walk in a man's shoe.
bottom
Right.
line.
Bottom line. So if I'm out there wearing heels to say let me walk in my shoe or walk in my sister's shoe, then that's something different because both of us are females.
Right. You guys
We go
can you
the same
physically
in a month.
empathize.
We go through the same changes in the month. We go through, um, similar stuff.
Hmm.
You walking a mile in your brother or your friend that your whatever shoe that are men because you can relate.
So wearing heels is a woman's struggle now.
You can relate because you guys are men.
I guess it's hard. I guess because it's hard to walk in heels. It's difficult to walk in heels. So they use that to represent
If you're not trained,
walking.
you're not gonna be able to walk in heels. I mean, you could train a man to walk in heels. That's not a woman's struggle. What problem? I
Right.
mean,
It's all
Exactly.
but it's just attention. People looking for
what is
attention,
our struggle?
and the
Right.
the phone going there.
Yeah, phones like that.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that was it for the first episode. I think that we touched on some pretty cool topics. I believe that we'll touch on a couple of these again, just to get like a little bit more well rounded perspective on it. And next time we will have more be more involved with like reaction videos. So anybody that's watching this, I do plan on doing different things with this series. I do plan on asking them different questions, and if you are interested, please, drop a comment below. You know, let us know what other things that we can talk about, other opinions and things like that. I find that my parents are one of the only examples that I have of a man and a woman being married for as long as they've done it and raise a family out of that. So I believe that they have a very unique perspective on things in terms of, how they went through life together and things like that. And guys don't have that role model. Guys and women don't have that role model in their life. So ask them, shoot me a DM on Instagram, drop a comment below, tell me how you guys liked it. Tell me, guys, if you didn't like it. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Thumbs up if you did like it, and subscribe to the channel. There's more coming through this channel. I wanted to start the series because I'm very adamant about men, and if a woman could even benefit from this, women too. Uh, just being more well-rounded. So having this channel, I wanted to help people essentially, just understand what it was like for two people to be married and have their own perspective on life, because we don't have that. We don't have it enough. So once again, subscribe, like the video, smash the like button, leave a comment if you liked what you saw. Let us know how we can do better. This is the first episode of, I'm deeming it, Father's Talk. So no offense, Ma, but I did want this to be more of like a men's self-development. Not saying that, you can't be featured on the episodes and you could chime in. I do want you to chime in on some topics and things like that, but I also would like my father to give his perspective on things and continue from there, because
the channel grow, I'm gonna come on board and you're gonna
say
get
what?
back. I see more your channel grow, I'm gonna come on board and give you
the more
go more
sessions we see.
in depth in my ideas and all of that.
Yeah. We'll talk a lot more. We'll go into different things. It doesn't always have to be about relationships, but we'll go into just different aspects of that. And yeah, we'll continue down. We'll make this a schedule. So I'd like to do this, once a week. Right now, every Sunday, I'll do this. I want to do this show for you guys, this live stream for you guys every Sunday. So stay tuned. And just support the channel, man. And you guys got any final words, for anybody viewing the video? Anything you guys want to say?
You want to say, well, tell the people. I just want to say, comment, support the channel.
Yeah, support the channel, comment.
We're gonna talk a lot more about relationship, life, a whole lot more.
Let's keep it going. We're gonna have a lot more coming with this series. I'm really proud. I'm really excited to have my parents involved into this YouTube channel. So let's keep it going, guys. Anyways, Yasuke Fitness is out. That was episode 1 of Father's Talk. Peace.
Bye.